good evening. It's Monica from Life is Art and Scrap. It's almost Monday. Let's create. And we are coming on here this evening to create a layout. Hence this Scrap. It's almost Monday. I'm just fiddling with my device here, making sure that my sound is turned off because, as usual, I forgot to do that. And there we go. So now you won't be hearing the sheep while I am working on my layout. Okay, so this is actually pre-recorded, and so I will be posting links at 7 o'clock, so you'll be able to watch it when we would normally go live. But today is my daughter's 13th birthday, and we're taking her out for dinner and all that stuff, and so I am pre-recording it so that you still get to see some scrappy goodness this evening. So I'm going to be creating tonight with the Memory Lane collection. I'm going to be starting out with a piece of white daisy cardstock as my base, and let me just, oh, I got stuff in my way over here. Crunchy, crunchy. Okay, good. I'm going to start out by putting a piece of adhesive on the back of my white daisy so that I can stick it down to my Versamat and have everything stay in place. Now, because I'm not live, I cannot see if I'm in the frame. Oh, look at that. I've got other stuff in the frame. Nice. Okay. Sorry, I just had to stand up to make sure everything was where it should be because I can't see. My camera's too high up when I do a layout. Okay, so this layout that I'm going to be creating today is based on one that I saw posted on Pinterest from, it was posted on scrapbook.com, and I couldn't figure out who the name of the person was that created it, but if I do, I will post it in the comments. And but it was on scrapbook.com on Pinterest, and I also just realized that I am going to run out of adhesive creating this layout, and so I'm just fiddling around getting another roll of adhesive as well. Gotta love all the fiddling that happens at the beginning of a video, and I'm not even live. Doing a recording. Okay, so we've got more adhesive. Awesome. Crinkle, crinkle. Let's get creating. We're going to be using a lot of strips of pattern paper for this layout. And I want to make sure that I get things lined up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my ruler. Just make sure I got on the right side. And all of my strips are going to be cut to 9 inches in length. And it's nice sometimes to create layouts that are made with strips of paper because you can use up little bits to cover a large area. Plus it creates a really cool pattern. And so that's what we're working on today. And so I've got my ruler lined up at 1.5 inches because all my strips are cut to 9 inches long. And I want my patterned area to be 9 by 9 centered in the center of my base page. So I've got my ruler going across at 1.5 inches. I can go ahead and add some adhesive to the back of this. Yep, see, there we go. That's the last little bit of the roll. See, I knew I was running out. So we'll grab the new roll for the next strip. And so this is one of the pattern papers from the Memory Lane collection. If you haven't had a chance to look at that, you should. It's only available for a little bit more time, and it is gorgeous paper, especially for scrapbooking, everyday type things. So I'm lining this up along my ruler, and I'm making sure that I'm 1.5 inches in from each side. Okay? And now what I think I will do is I will adjust my ruler so that it is lined up along this edge at 1.5. And then I can make sure that I don't wander too much with my strips. So this strip was 9 inches by, I'm going to use my ruler to measure because I forgot to tell you before I stuck it down. 9 inches by 1 1/4. And not all of the strips are the same. So that gives some variety. My next strip is this pretty yellow pattern. It's got kind of almost like doodled swirls on it that are probably kind of hard to see on the video. The back side is this pretty floral, which we're going to use as well, but that's the great thing about double-sided paper. So you can have one pattern one way and one pattern another way. And I love the colors that are in this. They're kind of muted, but also very cheerful. So there's honey butter and ballerina and sage and sapphire and melon, and I'm trying to think of all the ones. Let me grab a zip strip here, because zip strips are your go-to for finding that information. Ballerina, honey butter, melon, nectarine, peach, sage, sapphire, and white daisy. Lots of good colors in there. So now this next strip, we can just butt it up against the first one and also up against our ruler so it doesn't go anywhere. If you have one of the T-square rulers, then you can also use that. Now, I wanted to add a piece of shimmer trim, and I probably should have done it before I stuck that piece of paper down. This is some Melon shimmer trim, and I don't want it this wide. So there's a couple things that I could do. I could go ahead and stick it down and then layer something on top of it, or I could try to trim it. And so I'm going to try the trimming process. And to do that, when you want to trim the length of something like this, I find the easiest thing is to bring in your honkin' big paper trimmer that takes up way too much space. I should have marked the length here. We want 9 inches, right about there. Okay, so you're going to peel it off the backing. This is going to be a weird process, I know. Peel off the backing. Make sure I'm going to be more generous than 9 inches, just because. Take your scissors and trim it off. And we're doing it this way so that we preserve that piece of the backing on here, because shimmer trim is notoriously hard for getting the backing off of. And then what I do is I actually take my shimmer trim and stick it right to my paper trimmer. Just try and put it on straight. Okay, and give it a gentle little, just a little nudge. And then we can go ahead and we can trim down the length of it. And then we can have one strip. I'm just going to hang that off my light for now because I can use it for something else. But I just want this skinny little piece. And don't worry, it has sticky backing, and it will still be sticky. I've only stuck it down for one little moment. And then we can go ahead and apply it to our piece. Now, if I had done it before I stuck the paper down, I could easily trim it, but I'll just have to, by guess and by golly, the end there. Look at that. Nice. We got a nice little strip that we can use. Our excess is dangling off of the lamp over here. And then we have now preserved this long bit of the backing, because the next time we go to use shimmer trim, we won't have to fiddle around trying to get the backing off. We've left that little tail. Always a good thing to do with your shimmer trim. Okay, then I've also got this zip strip, which is this nice little leafy sage number. And we can go ahead and add this. So even though I'm doing strips of paper, I want to add a little bit more detail to the strips by adding in things like the shimmer trim and the zip strips, just for more fun. A little bit something something on there. So I'm going to line those up right side by side, all the way across. Looks pretty. Going to bring my ruler back in and line it back up at 1.5, like so, and that will keep us from wandering. And then the next piece that I'm bringing in is this sage sort of geometric pattern. Looks a bit textile-y. It kind of has that faded in, faded out look to it. The back side is this, and you're going to see that in a moment too. And so this is 9 inches by 2 inches. So this one's a little wider. We can go ahead and add that. There's a little piece of backing that got stuck to the side of my roll. There we go. And it's interesting because I've gotten so used to doing videos where you guys can come on and chat. So I'm feeling a little bit like I'm talking into the abyss right now because there's nobody here chatting with me. So sad. But that's okay. It's a birthday. We got to make sure we get to celebrate the birthday. And then I've got this nice little zip strip here from another piece. Again, it's 9 inches long. If you're not using zip strips, you can use anything that's cut to a 1/2 inch, such as shimmer trim or glitter paper or holographic paper or, you know, whatever else you want. Vellum. So many different things. Ribbon. You can add lots of good things. Okay. So now, let me see if I can kind of eyeball a straight line. We'll see. There we go. Just adding that in for a little bit of texture. And then we're going to go back to the yellow, and we're going to use the opposite side. So here we've got that beautiful little white flower with a sapphire center, a little bit of sage leaf going on. And this is 9 inches by 1.5. Basically, I started out thinking I need to fill 9 inches. And if I use 6 patterns, everything is 1.5 inch and it will be 9 inches in total. But then I thought, you know, that's kind of boring. If they're all the same, we like variety. And so I made some 1/4 inch bigger, 1/4 inch smaller, 1/2 inch bigger, 1/2 inch smaller, and then added in the zip strips and things to kind of give us that look of variety. There we go. Looks like we're keeping in line pretty good. I'm liking this. And so then our next strip is the back side of the sage, and it's this sort of, it's like got curves this way and kind of sketchy looking. But because I cut it at only 1 inch, you only have the one shape of the curve, which I thought was kind of fun. So we'll go ahead and stick that down like so. Now, because I'm doing these strips, I'm going with, you know, with my tape down the length of them. You technically don't need that much adhesive on there. If I was using a tape runner or something, I could just go blip, blip, blip. But I find it easier just to go down the length. It's about ease, not about conservation of resources. So if you like to conserve your resources, you can do it the different way. So there we go. We got that nice strip on there. And the last one that we're going to add is the back side of this. And it's this really fun sort of squares that have drawn lines to create lots of texture. And this one is 1 3/4 of an inch. And if we add up all of our measurements, we should get 9 inches. That's the hope. That's what we're aiming for. I thought it was nice to kind of start and end the strips with the same color, but different pattern, so that it kind of gave a boundary. And we carried that same color through in the center as well with the zip strip. And I think that just creates a nice little look. So there we go. Looks like we did pretty good. I think it's pretty well centered. Yay. Gotta love it when that happens. And let me see. I missed one. We've also got this little zip strip that's going to go on here as well. And this one is fun because it brings in the yellows from these 2 strips. So you'll notice we have 2 strips in this color, which I think is like a dark peach. And we have a zip strip that matches. Then we have these 2 in the sage, and we have a zip strip that matches. And then we have these two yellows, and we have this floral zip strip that matches. The nice thing about this too is it doesn't matter which way is up because the flowers go both directions. Works out well. So then we're just going to go ahead and add that across there like that. And it gives you a nice little bit of variety, kind of like, you know, layers in a quilt almost, right? And then, of course, we added in our little bit of sparkle there. Now, I do have the other strip of sparkle, which could be nice to add in somewhere. I'm wondering about adding it up here, just kind of balancing out the other one. And yeah, maybe I will. Why not? What else am I going to use it for? I was just going to let it linger there on my lamp until I stuck it on a card or something. So I might as well stick it on the layout. There's my scissors. I just got to trim the little end off here like so. Yeah, that looks very pretty. Nice. Good thinking. Yay me. So there we go. We've got that stuck on. And then I want to bring in, let me just move that out of the way. I've got stuff all over the place here. All those backing strips are now piled on top of everything. I gather them up when I'm done. So I went ahead and I used some stickers from my sticker sheet to add a little bit of embellishing and the title. So the large sticker that was here, I took it and stuck it onto some sapphire cardstock because I thought when I put that sticker down there first, it just disappeared because it's such a light color. But I like the sentiment on there that says spending time with you. And so I want to actually pop that up with some foam tape. Let me grab that and that. So let's add some foam tape on there. Spending time with you. And I'm actually scrapbooking current photos. Oh my goodness. Who knew that Monica could scrap current photos? But yes, I am. So these photos that I'm going to be scrapbooking were taken last week when I was at my parents' house. And yeah. So I'm just going to set this down here for now. I like the idea that we have this nice little glittery bit that's happening here. Kind of leads your eye to that title, which is nice. It's good to direct your eye around your page. And then I've got a couple of photos here. So my kids, they don't like playing Scrabble with me. They don't like playing Quiddler with me. I have got them playing bananagrams because my husband bought me bananagrams for my birthday or anniversary, some such thing, Mother's Day, one of those occasions. They all happen in May, so it's a bit of a blur. But when we visit grandmother and grandfather, grandmother loves playing word games too. So we played Scrabble, we played Quiddler, we did play Sushi Go as well. And the kids got involved in the Quiddler and the Scrabble and it went really well. And they were actually enjoying themselves. And so here's, if you've never seen Quiddler before, it's a card game and the cards have different letters on them. Some of them have 2 letters, like TH or CL, that kind of thing. And they all have numbers on them, just like Scrabble tiles would be. So it's basically a Scrabble game, but with cards. But you work your way up from like 3 cards, then 4 cards, and 5 cards. And so you have to play multiple rounds because you go all the way up to 10 cards. And one of my kids actually won one of the games. So I do think they were having a little too much fun checking out words on the Scrabble dictionary online. I think that helped a little bit. But yes, they enjoyed it. And so, yay! They played some word games with me. The reason they don't like playing word games with me is because I'm pretty good at word games. Don't ask me to play a video game. Don't ask me to play a hard card game like Magic the Gathering. I can't do it. My brain doesn't work that way. But boy, I like my word games. So I'm going to stick this photo on here like so, and just have it on a nice little jaunty angle. And then we're going to stick this guy down as well. And don't ever worry about covering up your background. I know some people that get a little bit anxious. They've taken the time to create a background. They like the look of their background, and then they don't know what to do with their photos. And there could be a tendency to take your photo and put it way over here so that you can see more of the background. Don't worry. You don't need to do that. Everybody gets the idea that you made a pretty background, and it's all good. It's all good. So we're going to go ahead and stick this down there like that to kind of give everybody the idea of the game that we were playing. Now, the Scrabble is on the table at the time, but we actually do this when the kids were little and my mom, because when you get to like 10 cards, it's a little hard to hold all the cards in your hand. So we flip one of the boxes over and use that little, you know, between the box and the lid, there's that gap, and you can stand your cards up in it. Good technique for those of you who have trouble holding lots of cards in your hand. And so that's why the Scrabble was on the table. We were playing Scrabble later, but at the time when the picture was taken, we were playing Quiddler. All right, so let's add this on here, and I am kind of tucking it up close to the photo and overlapping a bit, and there's a little bit of weird gappiness going on there, but don't worry, we're going to add some embellishments to deal with that. But before we do anything more, I want to create a border on here, and I'm going to use my black gel pen and my ruler to create this border. And I'm going to, because quite often I'll hand draw it, but for this one I actually want to do some, you know, nice lined up border business. So I'm going to just take my ruler and I'm going to draw my border. And normally I would pick up my whole Versamat, but because I'm on a video that I can't tell what it looks like, I'm not going to move my Versamat because I'm sure I'll put it back in the wrong spot. So I'm just going to spin my layout, and of course it's stuck in the center. So as I turn it, you can see that it's sticking. I'll just lift it up and move it. But that's okay. I put that little adhesive on the back so that it does stay put. And it just comes off with a rub and remove eraser at the end. So no worries. No worries. It's a good technique when you're trying to line things up. Even at this point, I don't really need to have it stuck down anymore because I'm kind of done with the lining everything up business. But we'll just leave it on there for now and fix it at the end. There we go. Created a nice little border around there. It's almost like adding a matting where, you know, you almost get like a little shadow. So I could have added actually a square mat of the white around there, but I thought, you know what, we'll just go ahead and do it this way. And this was actually how it was in the example that I'm using as my inspiration. I'm going to put this down because I'm going to use it in a few minutes. But I wanted to add in a couple embellishments here. And I have gone ahead and used the stamps from the Memory Lane collection, these gorgeous stamps. And I totally bought this simply for the houses because I'm all about the houses. This is what drew me to this. But it's also got some nice little sentiment stamps and things. And so be sure to check that out. But what I did was I actually stamped these on pattern paper. So this one, the yellow, is actually this same pattern here. And then I stamped it with sapphire ink and then used my dark purple and my dark turquoise shades tri-blend marker layered up to create the sapphire for the detail. I colored in the roof. And also on here, I colored in the trunk and the tire with the same blend of dark purple. Sorry, the purple blend, but it's the dark one. And the blue turquoise shades dark. So those two together make a really nice, like if you look there, you can see it's pretty close to sapphire. And I want to add these two embellishments just off to the side, and I think I'm going to add some foam tape to them as well. Just to add a bit of dimension. Like so. And maybe one more piece. Let's see if it'll fit in. Yeah, I don't even have to trim it. And let's do this one while we're at it. Add a little one for the trunk. And then some bigger pieces up here. I'll trim that one off. My scissors have a squeak the way I was holding them. Guess I'm pushing on the hinge while I'm doing that. Make a little squeaky sound. Okay, let's add our little house and our little tree because we're visiting grandmother and grandfather's house. So the house makes sense, and also it will fit in with my journaling, and I'm going to do my journaling while we're filming here. I'm going to do my journaling, and I'm going to kind of line it up with the bottom of my title piece. But I want it to hang over the sides, so I'm going a little bit outside the box because my journaling is actually going to go around the box. Now, fingers crossed that it works out the way I want it to work out. You never know when you're doing this. Recorded on video, but also, you know, with your handwriting on an already pretty close to being finished layout. So, you know, now I have written out my my words. I've got them on a sticky note here that I want to write as I go along. And so we're going to just turn here. And some people get a little antsy, just going to make sure my pen's going, about writing with their own handwriting. If you're not comfortable, you could totally type this out on the computer, cut it in strips, and add it around the outside. I considered doing that, but I'm going to do my best. And it'll be what it is, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and write my words here. And I might not be able to talk the whole time while I'm doing it. I don't know about you, but sometimes it's hard to talk and write something else. So bear with me for 1 second. It's not every day that I can get all, in capitals, my kiddos, I'm wandering, to play word related I got close to where I wanted to shift. Games with me. And the problem is because I'm good at them, I tend to win. Like most kids, they want to do some winning. So they want to play games where they're going to end up with some points, right? But they're getting, well, word games, and my eldest son, if I can pin him down to play them, he is fantabulous at them because he's a wordsmith and he knows way more words than I do. And, you know, but just to kind of pin him down to do it, I'm just grabbing the little tiny heart from the stamp set, and I think Melon. I will use Melon, and I want to stamp a little heart kind of in line with my writing. Now I want to make sure that I didn't pick up any extra ink on there. I'm gonna have to bring this closer to me and stamp a little heart. I think that's kind of fun. And that was actually something that was on the one that I was using as my inspiration, and I loved it. So I definitely wanted that part in here. So visiting grandmother, and grandfather. Now, he's not in the pictures because he was, oh, I spelled it wrong because I'm talking. Grandfather's house. He was working the first day, he was home the second day, and then he was working the third day that we were there. So, so at some point, he wasn't around when we were taking photos. So this particular session, he's not in the photo, but in other ones, he is. So we're going to add another little heart there just to kind of encompass grandmother and grandfather's house, because who doesn't love going to grandmother and grandfather's house? So, visiting grandmother and grandfather's house is an exception. Sorry, I had to not talk when I wrote that word because I knew I would get it wrong. So, I will enjoy, and we're going to bring in another stamp because we've got this moment on our little sticker sheet here. So I will enjoy this moment, and I was hoping to be able to stamp that about there, but you know, it is what it is. So we're coming around the side, and you know what? I think I'll stick with the melon just so that we keep the same colors, maybe? I thought about switching to the blue, but maybe we'll keep it with the melon. Just for consistency. So we're inking it up, making sure... Oh, there was blue on that corner. So I will enjoy this moment. Nice. And we're going to keep going. I can actually wash that stamp. Look at that. I got my stamp chamois ready and everything. Because I'm going to have to switch to another stamp in a minute. So do you do that? Do you incorporate stamps when you're doing your journaling? So I will enjoy this moment. Period. Once they get playing... They discover it's, and then I'm going to stamp another word. I'm going to come to the stamp set and grab the so much. Again, we're going to use the melon. So we're going to take that one off. Add so much on there. Make sure I haven't picked up anything. Make sure I've actually got ink on there. It's so much. Loving this. Can wash that. Doo-doo. Not very often do I actually get journaling done, and not very often do I do journaling live. Probably never. So much fun. There we go. Look at that. I am so pleased with myself. There we go. We've got some journaling on a page. Hooray! And then I've got some embellishments. I took another piece of the pattern paper, and it's the one side is a stripy goodness, and on the other side it's an ombre, and I've used some of that on some cards that I created. But I took the pattern paper and this long retired set of Stitched Hearts thin cuts. So, you know, when you have these nice tools, you'll find yourself just going back and back and back and using them again and again. It's like having punches and things. When you have a tool, it's not just a one-time use. You get to use it so many times. And I love the detail that you get with the stitched edging on these, but it's got this nice soft ombre going on. And I thought that that would be really pretty. So we're going to stick this in the gap. So there's that little weird gappiness that's happening there. And so that's what this is going to help us with. Just like this. Peel that off. So we're going to tuck that in there. Now, I've got some foam tape under there, so I may need to trim my heart, which is totally fine. Just going to trim a little bit off of the bottom. Of course, it's got adhesive, so it's sticking to my finger, and that way we can get it where we want it. So, right there. And then we will add this little guy. We're going to pop him up with a bit of foam tape. And just at the top, because he's going to overhang the title a little bit. So just put a little bit of foam tape on the top, because the bottom will be lifted up already from the raised up part of the title. I love the soft yellows in this. That honey butter color is so pretty. It's delicious. Just like honey butter. And then we're going to just layer it over there. And then this little guy, we're going to pop it up as well. And I want to just take a look before I stick it down. I've got 2 pairs of scissors on the go here. One for adhesive and one for not adhesive, so that I don't have to keep cleaning them in between, because I'm using substandard tape, foam tape. I want to look at my sticker sheet, because there's a lot of little words here, and I kind of wanted to add a little word or something up here. So we've got happiness, this is our life, our house is the best. I'm thinking of maybe doing loving this along with this little heart. I'm just trying to decide. I think I want it to go over top. So I'm going to stick this on like that. And then this is going to need some foam tape too. And I don't need it right on the end, because that's going to go on top of the heart. But I will add it further down, like so. And you know what? It's a small little piece, and the foam tape is covering most of it. So I'm not even going to worry about the anti-static pouch or anything. I'm just going to go ahead and stick it on there. And I like how it's kind of bordering in between those 2 strips, making a nice little moment there. So we've got that, and then I think I want to add a little something else. Down here, it needs a little something kind of right there, and I want something that's a little bit different than this color so that it stands out. We've got this is the best. That might be nice, and just kind of sticking it there like that. And then let me see if I want anything else. Yeah, maybe we'll grab a little heart. Just trying to decide where to put it. My fingers cover up the space, so, you know, I'm just going to put it right on the corner like that. This is the best. And then we're going to bring in some bling, because we can't not have some bling. So I've got my clear sparkles and my bitty sparkles. I didn't want to bring in too much more color, and we already have this nice melon sparkly bit there. So I thought a little bit more sparkle never hurt. So I've got bitty sparkles, which are teeny tiny. And then I've got the clear sparkles, which are a little bigger. I could take a marker and change the color of these so that they're a little closer to that melon. Do I want to do that? That's a thought. You know what? I might. I'm going to use my coral and the darkest color of the coral. Let's see. Let's add, it's not going to make a huge difference, but it will give a little bit different tone. There we go. Maybe we'll do 3, just in case we need 3. And then we'll do some of these little guys. Why not? We'll do 4 of those. If we need more, we can do more. All right, now we just have to remember which ones we've colored. That's the challenge. So let's grab one of these guys and stick it right on there like that. And maybe a couple. We'll put another one there and another one down here, kind of around that loving this moment that's happening up there. We can add one maybe on the edge of that heart, and one there, and one there, like that, and then maybe one more. We'll add it on here, like so. And let's color a couple more. We never know how many we need until we get right down to it, right? We'll grab another one of those and another one of those. You can never have too much sparkle. Well, actually you can. You can have too much sparkle. But we're not going over sparkly right now. We're just a nice little amount of sparkle, right? So we'll stick that one there. And maybe that one there. Looking cute. So there we have it. We have finished our layout. We have all those gorgeous strips of pattern paper creating such a gorgeous background for our photos. And I like that the color in my mom's shirt and the jelly cupboard in the corner kind of go with this nice sagey look. And then I was wearing actually the same shirt I'm wearing right now. And it kind of ties in with some of these colors. And Joshua's little jacket that he was wearing is kind of the sort of a mustardy yellow, but it kind of goes in with this. And Justin looked kind of creamy with his hat on there, so that goes nice with the honey butter. And of course Julia's red hair just goes so well with that melon glitter paper. So it all seemed to coordinate quite well with this Memory Lane collection. I love the idea of journaling around that hand-drawn border, adding in the little bits of stamping as well. That's super fun. Stamping the embellishments on pattern paper to create these 2 embellishments down here, and die cutting the other pattern paper. Adding in our stickers, a little bit of cardstock to amp up our title, and I think that's just super cute. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing that layout come together. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend and a beautiful week ahead. All right, toodaloo. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.